Stuart?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Thanks.
Right.
Nice one. Thanks, Joe. A busy day. You've been in full 100 mode now then? You got your shirt on?
Yeah, it's been good fun actually. Plenty to do still as well, which is it's exciting, but it's making the tournament feel like a reality now rather than a bit of a pipe dream as it has done for the last couple of years. So looking forward to it coming around and experiment a little bit with the new format.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of this piece, we're holding on to this piece to sort of get past the test matches and what have you, and it'll go out a little bit closer at the time. So we'll just kind of speak about it in those terms as though it's just around the corner. Yeah. I mean, do you think with the 100, it is, it's going to just enter this new level now that it's been talked about for 2 or 3 years now, and it's almost become this discussion point. And I just wonder how you feel it's going to be now when you can actually see some players get out on the pitch and experience it.
I think because of the quality of players, you're going to see a fantastic product. There's some brilliant players from all around the world coming in and being a part of it. And there'll be new ways of thinking it, new ways of looking at the game. And I think actually it could really open people's minds up to exploring new ways of improving themselves as players, looking at how to construct those innings in slightly different ways. And it might even, like T20 has with the other formats, it might even improve the longer formats as well.
You've got plenty on your plate, Joe. I don't expect you to have, drafted a whole notebook full of ideas. But have you started to ponder it? You've had plenty of time in hotel rooms over the last few months, at least. Have you wondered about things you might do differently, or how your game might evolve in the format?
I think more than anything for me, it's just be very open-minded when the tournament comes round. Be open to trying different things. Be open to looking at different ways of, whether it's chasing a score down setting, not being too rigid in how we go about it and how I personally go about it. And similarly with about trying to be as unpredictable as possible. You think, look at most of the guys that are really successful in T20 cricket. They are very unpredictable. They're hard to set fields to. And it'll be similar in this format as well, maybe even to more of an extreme. So it'll be difficult to read as an individual and as a player without overcomplicating the game.
Sure. Talking about being open-minded, that's obviously as a batsman and a cricketer, that's on the one hand, but to some level, I suppose cricket fans need to be open-minded to this new format as well. And I just wondered, with your role as Test captain, you're kind of you're at the apex of the traditional format of the game. You're the poster boy for Test cricket in England. That's your main source, really. And I just wonder how important you think it is for you, really, to be seen to be on board with this, because a lot of those people who do favour Test cricket amongst all else, they'd look to someone like you, and you're throwing yourself into it as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is, for me, Test cricket is still the pinnacle of the game. And it should always be, and it's the bedrock of and the foundation of how everything else has developed over time. But I don't think this is here to challenge it. I think it's here to be alongside it, and I think that it should be enjoyed as well as it, not instead of it. And I think that's exactly how we should be viewing it. We should be looking at it as a gateway for a new audience to come and enjoy our brilliant sport. And from this, it could be a platform to then go on and really enjoy the longer formats of the game off the back of this, as well as it potentially taking other areas of the game to a new level. And that's the exciting part for me is a chance to evolve and move forward alongside the traditional nature of what and all the brilliant things that Test cricket already has as ways of hopefully it can add to it as well.
Did you feel it was important when the schedule was pushed back and it was into this summer, important that you guys still got the chance to be part of it like was planned last year, that those centrally contracted guys like yourself were able to actually feel like this was a tournament that you were involved in and not just sort of watching it from the sidelines? Yeah,
absolutely. We all want to be a part of it. We all want to get our teeth into it and understand how it's going to work, try and put ideas into it and our stamp on it, and as well want to see it thrive. So you want to really try and set the tone for the tournament moving forward, and thankfully we get the chance to hopefully do that.
I guess we don't know what the future is for the 100 in terms of the format on a wider level. Do you think we look at the schedules and, they don't get any easier with England? Do you think there's room for a fourth format in international cricket if people really bought in hard, or would something have to give?
Who knows? Who knows how it would all figure out? I think the most important thing is that it's the success here in the UK first, and that actually we give it the best chance to do that. And as players, I certainly think we will. I think that, as I say, the standard of cricket will be extremely high because of the quality of players that are involved in the tournament. And because it is new, I'm sure there will be that excitement there around it. There will be that buzz that, how are people going to fare in it? How are sides going to look to set games up and chase things down? And off the back of it, I think there'll be a lot of good noise coming out of off the back of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the turnaround from T20 being a domestic product to an international product was exceptionally fast. Really, it got sucked in immediately because it was so popular. Could you imagine that level of excitement where people think the market is calling for this, and you could find England playing a 100 international within a couple of years?
Potentially, I can't see why it wouldn't happen. I think one of the great things for it as well is the way that the platform it's giving the women's game as well. Actually, I think that the way that both sides of both tournaments are alongside one another and that played on an even platform, I think that's great as well, and that'll hopefully grow the women's game even further. And again, could that be how it gets into the international stage first through women's cricket?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I say, if the quality of players is there, it might be a slightly different look. It might have slightly different and quirky ways of how you have to chase the score down or set things up or tactically look at the game. But I think that makes it interesting as well, and just seeing how different minds will look at this and apply their method to it.
Yeah, I mean, on the captaincy level, the idea of being able to keep a bowler on or whip them off or do things a little bit differently. I mean, are you quite happy to step back and leave those complexities to someone else on this occasion and stick to your test gig?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a big call, isn't it? And I think it actually it'd be interesting to see how many times that works in your favour and how many times it backfires. And sometimes 10 balls at a batter gives them an opportunity to line a bowler up. Sometimes it works completely the opposite way, and that whether those matchups work out well or not, you might take a wicket early on, and in that spell of 10 balls or whatever, and then the new batter takes a liking to you. So it's very interesting to see how that would unfold. But again, interesting, and looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
I mean, you've said to us in the past in various occasions that there's moments where it's hard to get the ball off Ben, for example, when he's got the bit beneath his teeth. Can you imagine as a captain just with that 10 ball innovation, that moment in time where you think this guy is on a hot streak and he just needs to run as many balls in a row as I can get out of him?
Yeah, and I think similarly there'll be a bowlers trying to get rid of it as well after 5 balls, trying to avoid that 10 ball streak. But I definitely think that'll be the case, and what an opportunity as well to make a name for yourself as a young up and coming player. Grab the game by the scruff of the neck and really make an impact by saying, I want these 10 balls, I want to win as the game, or really change the tide of the contest. So I think you'll learn a lot about some younger players as well, and some of the guys that really want to make an impact and that are really confident in their own ability.
Can you reminisce a little bit for me about Andy Flower, working with him as a kid, really, certainly a young man, and now reuniting really as England captain, and a very different relationship probably now between you two.
Yeah, I think it will be very different. I always got on very well with Andy. A couple of occasions he got the crooked fingers out of me to tell me off, but
he'll still do that.
Yeah, he'll still do that. I'm sure I'll upset him somewhere somehow. I always enjoyed working alongside. So obviously, very studious mind of the game, and he always paid real attention to detail when it came to the test match team. So I expect nothing less in this format as well. I'm sure he'll be very open-minded and will be very open to experimenting, but it will be very thought out alongside that as well. And I think they'll try and get that balance early on in the piece, and I suppose more than anything, allow the guys to play with freedom, but controlled freedom, if that makes sense. I feel like he was always that way inclined when.
Yeah, and he's been around the world, and he's experienced different kinds of cricket, T10 included. He'll be quite keen, Andy, won't he, to having taken this job to make a bit of an impact. He's not a good loser, I don't remember.
No, I don't think he's a very good loser. I can't remember being a very good loser in the dressing room all those years ago. So he will definitely want to put a stamp on things, and he'll want to take this opportunity for sure. He's got some good players to work with, and to build the side around. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how he sets the team up and how he fares as well.
Yeah, it hasn't escaped my notice. Possibly hasn't escaped your notice either, that you've got a Northern Superchargers match in that little block of games that you're expecting to play. Did that one pop out at you on the fixture list, that you got a chance to play against them and show them what they're missing?
Yeah, naturally. Naturally, it's nice to be getting the opportunity. It'd be interesting to see what if we. I don't know whether it's at home or away. Is it at Headingley?
It should be home for you, actually.
Home for at least I won't be getting a frosty reception of it. But yeah, definitely, and to be playing against some of the other England guys as well, it'd be great fun as well. I'm sure Ben will have a few words for me. Normally,
this is the thing, it's a bit of fun, but actually, this idea of you guys being available for these matches, it's not an accident. It's because they want to show Joe Root versus Ben Stokes to as many people as possible, and it's without overselling it. It's a pretty box office draw, to see players like yourself go head to head. We don't see it very often on a big level.
And it won't be. I mean, it'll be good fun, obviously, but Ben I'm sure we'll have things to say to it. Whenever we play like a warm-up game or a practice game, if I hit for 4, he lets me have it. The friendship sort of goes to one side for half an hour. You can tell I really wind him up. So I'm sure that will add to it as well. Hopefully you'll see plenty of that throughout that fixture.
Yeah. Do you when you play against Ben, do you just let him do the talking and you're happy to?
I don't want to upset Ben.
Nobody does.
Just try and keep the head down.
You touched on it before about the women getting the sort of the equal platform, really, and this is quite an innovative move for a domestic league. I just wondered, they're kicking off the tournament. They've been given that honour. Will you be tuning in? That's a little bit of a tune up to watch the very first match, and just wonder if your plans are to check in and see how it goes.
Yeah, I want to, and it's as anyone play, I'm sure most of the guys that are playing in the men's tournament will be watching, because it's the first real opportunity to see how the tournament will unfold, and it's a great opportunity for the women's game. What a chance to show how far and how quickly the women's game is growing in this country. It's great to see. It's great to see the girls get that opportunity, because they've done some wonderful things over the last couple of years, and this is just another step in hopefully taking that the women's game further.
Yeah. Will success for the 100 be that you start to hear about it while you're playing Test cricket back with England? You've got a massive Test series against India, and I suppose there's a limited number of eyeballs, or there's it's a competitive market, but for the good of, I don't know, wider cricket or cricket's health in general, do you feel like the two happening simultaneously, the Test series against India and the sort of business end of the 100, do you feel like they can raise each other up, and the more eyeballs on any cricket really is lifting the whole sport up?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that they bounce off each other, and that one will drag an audience to the other. And I think that the great thing about the 100 is how reachable it is, because of it being on terrestrial as well as on Sky, and hopefully off the back of it, that sort of new audience and those new eyeballs, as you say, grow to like the game very quickly, and we'll look at Test cricket and let's have a look at what this is all about. So, the more people watching the game, the better. The more that we can grow the game, that's exactly what we want as players, is we want as many people involved in the sport as possible. And to entertain within that, whether that be Test cricket, whether that be the 100. And it's a great chance to try and grow the sport. So, hopefully they do bounce off one another, and there's a great following throughout the summer.
Last one, if that's all right. Are you getting the call there?
Sorry, Rory.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We've got a couple of minutes left. So do you want to ask one more question, and then we'll have to wrap it up if that's all right?
I have pretty much forgotten what I was just going to ask him one more, and I've just forgotten what it was. So.
Sorry.
I was probably going to ask him what the test team was for next week, and tell me you'll have to wait till the toss.
Yeah, we will. No idea yet. We'll see.
No, that's it. No, I think we've got everything off there. That's fine.
No, it's cheers, Roy. Nice to see you.
Nice one. Yeah, good one. Catch you later.
I'll catch you later on. Cheers,
Joe.